I'm pretty hyped about Elden Ring Nightreign. I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but this is the first time I've really dove into it to see it. I saw the teaser and that's it, but that was a long time ago. So, as you can see, I really like Elden Ring. I've played it over 1,000 hours. Um, so, needless to say, I am very hyped. And yeah, let's just dive in. Subscribe to Ziostorm, and let's see what this video is all about. Let's see what Elden Ring Nightreign is like.
Alright, what's going on, guys? So the Elden Ring Nightreign network test has been chugging along. We've got several sessions under our belt now. Things have actually been going pretty smoothly. The game actually works now. And whatever
Okay,
errors
it's good that
plagued
it
the first
works.
network test session seem to have been ironed out, thankfully. And we've gotten to experience all the content this network test has to offer. And I've got a lot to say about what we played. Just to give my overall thoughts right off the bat. First of all, Elden Ring Nightreign is extremely fun, especially when you have a competent team that works together. You're in for a really good time, and the 40 or so minutes that it takes to do a full run just
40
fly by.
minutes.
I also think the
I do hope that my understanding is that you can be in a team of 3 or you can do it solo. I hope that it's not super hard solo and super easy with 3 because I want to play solo. Honestly, I don't really want to have to depend on teammates. I get just as much enjoyment from playing by myself. If I have like real life friends that want to play, sure, but
creativity they've expressed with a
with
lot of the
randoms, I'd
abilities
rather
and
just play solo.
combinations of these abilities are fantastic. One of the ones I got lucky to get was an effect that caused a dragon
The
bolt of
hippo?
lightning to strike every time I did a dodge roll, and this came in extremely handy in stun locking bosses.
Okay, so
And
it's
the
like a
crazy
roguelike
combinations you can accomplish when you stack a lot of these abilities, I
you
think
get
is the
random
high point
buffs.
of the game. And that right there, that randomness is what's going to keep people coming back and playing it over and over again, because it's a new experience every time you play. So I'm really happy that it seems they've been able to accomplish that. I also think they've done a great job with the challenge of Nightreign and giving
Okay, so it sounds like it's going to be a roguelike Elden Ring experience, which is sounds interesting. I mean, I've played Elden Ring over and over again, just doing all these different builds, kind of speed running the game in a sense. So this will probably be up my alley. I don't really like roguelikes overall though, so I'm still very skeptical of whether or not I'll enjoy this.
a lot of repeat bosses from the base game that we fought 100 times, new creative twists that drastically change the way the fight goes.
Yeah, I
I
hope
mean, who
it's
would have
not
thought
just
Tree
copy and
Sentinel would be the
paste
hardest fight in the network test? Not
of
me.
old
Seriously though,
bosses.
this fight was way harder than even the final boss. But I think that's a good thing, because it's going to be one of those filters where if you don't have a team that works together, then it's going to sabotage your run, and you need things like that in a roguelike. Another thing I want to commend is the use of Margit. I think having these random stalker bosses is a fantastic idea that can completely shake up your run and give you an option of, do you want to fight it and get a really good reward, or potentially save your life. And kind of tying
Okay,
this in with
so
the
the
last point
stalker
as well.
boss is like a rare optional boss that shows up. You get good loot from it. I see.
They did a fantastic job giving a new twist on this fight also. Every time he showed up, it was just a rush, and I love it. Now, while I do have an overwhelmingly positive opinion of what I played so far, I do still have quite a bit of
Overwhelmingly
concern for
positive
the
is
final
good.
release that I think they'll want to take a look at, or at least the ideas will need to be present in order for the game to truly be the best version of itself. Now, obviously, this is all entirely subjective. I'm just one person, my opinion doesn't matter that much, and you don't have to agree with me, but I still want to express these. First of all, the main thing I want to talk about is, since this is a spin-off game, just go ahead and go crazy with the fan service. They're already bringing back a lot of fan favorite bosses like Nameless King, but give us a lot more than that. There's a lot of other fan favorite bosses that need to make a return as well. The first one that comes to mind is, since we already have Margit as a stalker type boss, maybe in one of the other worlds we have a stalker type boss, that's the Pursuer from Dark Souls 2. I mean, come on,
Oh
you
yeah,
could
that'd
not
be
ask
cool.
for a better
I actually didn't play
opportunity to
Dark
bring
Souls
this
2.
boss
I've
back.
watched
That's
it be
literally
played
the
on
entire point of the
YouTube,
character.
but
That's why he's called the Pursuer. Honestly, it would be really nice to see a lot of Dark Souls 2 bosses get reimagined in
I wouldn't
Nightreign
mind
with
if
new
they
movesets, a
got
new
rid
twist.
of all the dragon bosses though. These dragon bosses suck. Even in Elden Ring, they're all the same and they're all boring. You just ride around your horse and hit them in the feet. So, not really a big fan of dragon
For example, I
bosses in
think
the
the
mix.
Smelter Demon would be really cool. Dark Lurker would be a perfect boss to reintroduce, since it
Although
already
there's
has
no
the ability
horse,
to
it
switch
looks
into 3
like.
versions of
So it kind of
itself. That would
changes
fit
it.
exactly into Nightreign. Or from the other games, we could see the return of Artorias. Even if it seems like a fan service cop-out, go ahead and do it. That's what this game is for. What about Smo and Ornstein, Manus? What about Bloodborne even? We could drop Ludwig in. But that's the point.
Yeah,
Go
fuck
ahead
it.
and
Put
go
them all in.
wild with it. I do
It's
think
a
I will be a little disappointed
asset
if it's
flop.
just a few throwaway
Anyway,
bosses from the past games. But since we've already seen the Nameless King,
put them
I think
all
they
in.
do have some surprises in mind, and I can't wait to see what those are. Now, one thing that we do know is going to be in the game are things to buy at the Roundtable Hold. And in addition to the relics, you get the game's new currency, which is going to let you buy things from the shop. Although we don't quite know what those are going
In-game
to be
shop.
just yet. I've heard them mention cosmetics for the
Well, I guess we'll find out if it's a roguelite or a roguelike. If it's a roguelike, you'll be able to get like minor upgrades in the shop. My guess, it's all going to be cosmetic stuff. If it really is a roguelike, but I don't really care either way. Roguelike, roguelite. I'm not
characters.
really
I
a
think that's
huge
great
fan
idea,
of those
but in the
genres
core
anyway.
principle of it, we need something to grind for, some kind of ultimate goal. That's
But
going
I
to
do
keep
like
us playing
grinding.
after we beat the final boss. Now, if you can only buy relics from the shop, that's going to
I
be a
am
bit
a
disappointing,
grinder.
But since
I
there's
do
no
play
armor for the characters
OSRS
and you don't
and World of
collect armor in the
Warcraft
game,
Classic,
skins
and I
are
have
the
1,000
kind of
hours in
perfect
Elden
thing
Ring.
that you could grind for. And notice how I said grind instead of pay for, because it's not a live service game. I think a lot of people associate cosmetics with live service, and rightfully so, but they can be in the game without being predatory. You know,
True.
back in the day, we
We'll
used
see
to
if they have a
things like that,
disgusting
like the
in-game
flaming
cosmetic
helmet or
cash
sword in
shop, or
Halo
if it's
3.
all just
Something
through
where you
in-game
see a guy on
rewards.
your team that has a skin like that, and you think, okay, this guy's going to be a great partner. I'll probably stick close to them because they know how to play the game well. Now, hopefully all
Ooh, like the Halo 3 samurai armor. Although everyone had that.
of these are on brand and it's from software, so they probably will be. You know, I'm not trying to see Wilder running around in cat ears, but maybe we get something like Radahn's armor on the big strength character.
Ooh, that'd
or
be cool.
a Black Knight skin for Wilder. That's another way they could tie back the old games with reintroducing cosmetics that harken to the original Dark Souls trilogy and such. Maybe a Lady Maria skin for Duchess. That's a good way to get people to grind the game even after
Oh,
they
it
beat
looks like... It almost looks like Battle Royale, how they're running around getting this like randomized loot from chests. You know? But that's just because it's open world. I mean, I understand roguelikes and roguelites do that too. So, it's kind of goofy. It reminds me of Fortnite, seeing them run over to the chest and loot it.
beat it. So I think that would be cool for them to do, and I hope they're thinking along the same lines. Another thing that's been confirmed for the final game of Nightreign is that there will be 8 Night Lords in total. That's 8 bosses that you
How
can
does
target at the end
resurrecting
of your run, and to be
teammates
honest,
work?
that does sound a little bit low. Now, I assume the others will be significantly harder than Gladius was. We managed to beat him the first try we got to him. But if you have a really good team, you know, you'll probably be able to beat the final boss in 3 to 4 runs, at least compared to what the CNT was. And again, this is going to be
Okay,
the
so this is
easiest
the
portion
final
of the
boss,
game.
one
I
of
assume
them.
it will be much harder. But even so, I do hope there's some
He looks
secret final
badass,
boss you get to
like
fight
Cerberus.
after you beat the 8 Night Lords. Some kind of ultimate challenge at the end, whether
Only a
that's
fox,
the very
I guess?
thing behind the night itself, even if it doesn't have a run to go with it, let
Like
there be
Nine
some
Tails and
secret ninth
Cerberus
boss that you can
fused
matchmake
together.
into and just make it one of the hardest fights in From Software history. If they're not going to do that, maybe make some kind of nightmare mode, an extra challenge run on top of the base 8 runs that you can do. The overall point here being, it would be cool to have some kind of secret content for beating the main 8 runs. And I think a lot of people would really like that. You know, this game is a spin-off. A good source of
Yeah,
inspiration.
fuck it.
would
Add
be
a
to look
secret
at the
level.
mods people make for the base game, which I think was the inspiration for the game in the first place with the popularization of
Like
things
Nameless King in Dark
randomizers
Souls
and
3.
seamless co-op.
That'd be cool.
But extra challenge modes on top of that would be a lot of fun too. Maybe some of the cosmetics can only be unlocked by completing these challenges, such as beating the final night solo or on nightmare mode or something like that. I think a lot of people would just be a little disappointed if you get to the end and it really is the end. You know what I'm saying? Maybe y'all disagree on that, but it's just something I could see them doing.
That's pretty common in video games too. You get to the end and then there's some secret passage boss level that you have to do a lot of things in order to have unlocked. So you have to, you know, discover these secrets and do them on the way to the end of that game, and then it'll unlock a secret path. You know, like Star Fox 64. Yeah, that shit's badass. I hope they do something like that for sure.
Another thing that I thought about while I was playing was that the variety of the night bosses, not the night lords, wasn't strong enough. You know, I think there were only 4 in the CNT. You had the Centipede Demon, probably the easiest, then the Demi-Human fight, definitely harder than Centipede Demon, Tree Sentinels, easily the hardest of the night bosses, and I'm pretty sure Margit was the only second night boss that we got to fight. I do hope that in the final game, the pool of these night bosses is much larger. Now, I do think they'll change depending on what
just
your
add
final
'em all.
boss is going to be, but to only have one
Throw
of the
everything in
second
there.
night bosses, I think was a bit of a letdown. Now, I do think that's going to be much different in the final game because the seed we're playing on seems to be locked in the CNT. But again, it's just something that was going through my head while I was playing, and I wanted to bring it up here. I want a lot of variety. I don't want to know what to expect. And again,
Oh, that's how you resurrect people. You do damage to them. I saw him swinging on his friend earlier while they were down, and now I just saw him shoot him, and he got up from it. Interesting. So that's like a good application for range weapons, because they were kind of worthless in Elden Ring, but if you can use a range weapon to hit your teammate and resurrect them with that from a distance, Hey, now ranged weapons have a purpose. That's cool.
If we're pulling from Software's history and all the past games, then there's plenty of variety to choose from. And I'm sure there will be in the final game. But again, I just wanted to mention that. But that's just some feedback I had after playing it and some thoughts. There was some other stuff I can mention, some small things like render distance being pretty bad. A lot of the textures seem to not load at times.
Yeah,
When your group gets separated, there can be some
I'm guessing performance is going to be shit. I mean, Elden Ring, to this day, the performance of Elden Ring is still shit. Like, I struggle to get 60 FPS. I get frame drops in Lendel, like, to this day. I have a i7 8700K and a 1080 Ti, which aren't great, but, like, Elden Ring isn't a super graphically intense game. It has no business performing as poorly as it does, especially when you compare it to other games. But, yeah, so my hopes and expectations for the performance are very, very low. We'll say that.
some performance issues. Hopefully things like that get ironed out towards the actual release, but those aren't really big.
Like, let's not forget, on day one of Elden Ring launch, you couldn't even walk out of the initial elevator into the very first zone without horrible frame drops. Like, you remember looking at the castle, seeing the tree knight, everything, and it was just stuttering. And it was like that for the first couple days, I think. And it's still not great, but they fixed it a little bit. But it used to be much worse. So, again, I'm very skeptical about performance issues on launch for Nightreign.
Kind of obvious, but overall, I really like Nightreign. I think it's the perfect thing to tide us over until the next major Souls-like from Miyazaki. Again, it's only
honestly, I would prefer if they just focused on the next major Souls-like for Miyazaki rather than this kind of roguelike asset flip slop. Granted, even though it's slop, I'm probably still gonna really enjoy this. Like I said, I have 1,000 hours in Elden Ring. That's like, why would you have 1,000 hours in a single player game? So this is probably made for people like me. But even so, I'm still skeptical. Because again, I'm not huge into roguelikes, but maybe I'll like it.
only a $40 spin-off game, and they've already said that it's
Only
going to
$40.
DLC,
That's
and based off the closed network,
a little more forgivable then.
to get our money's worth. But what do you guys think about Nightreign so far? What's some feedback you have for the final release? Are you excited for more content, or is Nightreign not really your thing? Either way though, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like on it and subscribe if you're new around here. But with all that, I will catch you in the next one. Yeah, I am new.
And I subscribed and liked. That was a good video. There wasn't as much in-depth kind of technical analysis of the game and how it differs from Elden Ring, but maybe that was covered previously because that's what I'm really interested in. But yeah, kind of what I expected. Performance is shit. It looks like a roguelike where you can play with up to 3 people. Again, I'm interested and concerned in how playing solo is versus 3-player. It might just always be best to play as 3-player. Maybe it's just way harder solo. Hopefully it's balanced because again, I do kind of want to play solo mostly. Aside from playing like multiplayer with my friends, but yeah, I'm really excited for Elden Ring Nightreign. Obviously, I can't recommend it at this point because I haven't played it myself. But either way, I'm gonna get it when it comes out, and I'll definitely cover it. But yeah, this was a good video. So yeah, check them out. This was Zion Storm, and if you like this video, like it and subscribe. I'm a new channel, so subscriptions go a really long way. And thanks again for watching. Peace.